There aren't many actors who can transition from MILF
That's Stifler's mom? Yep.
to Madame Butterfly, but Jennifer Coolidge nails it in her role as Tanya McQuad in HBO's anthology series The White Lotus. Coolidge's hero's journey includes more than one bucket of vomit, real-life tragedy, and one madcap vacation that led to several nominations. So sit back, grab a spritz, and we'll tell you how Jennifer Coolidge became the tragic hero of The White Lotus, and also which pop star helped her along the way. The White Lotus is the brainchild of actor, writer, and former Survivor contestant Mike White.
I'm coming, hold on.
This anthology series dissects class differences and relationship dynamics in increasingly gorgeous vacation spots, with a theme song that is truly club-worthy.
Whenever I stay at a White Lotus, I always have a memorable time. Always.
But did you know this show might not exist at all if Jennifer Coolidge hadn't gone on a last-minute safari with the creator?
So I went to Africa with Mike, and it was very, intimate. The tents are, they're beautiful, but you're right next to each other in them, and so he got to see a very unedited version of me.
I see, on vacation.
And I, thank God it was like White Lotus. I mean, he was looking for a crazy lady or something to play. I would have gone differently, and someone else would have gotten this part. But I think he was sort of amused by how strange I was on the trip.
After that fateful close quarters encounter, White wrote the role and the series with Coolidge in mind. He included many of her real-life idiosyncrasies, like her love for restoring vintage architecture.
There aren't enough people out there that are worried about old buildings.
Her knack for physical comedy, and even some of her personal trauma.
My mother died, earlier than she was supposed to.
That's lucky for you.
But despite the part being tailor-made for her, Coolidge tried her best to get out of taking the role. She told the New York Times that White offered her the part in 2020, in the thick of COVID lockdowns. According to Coolidge, she felt insecure about how her body had changed during the pandemic, and was so fearful of being on screen that she attempted to fake a major injury to avoid taking the part. Luckily, a friend talked her off the ledge, and the rest is television history. That refusal to call is a classic part of any hero's journey, but also not the first time Coolidge has used her acting chops to try and get out of something with a fake injury. She recently spilled the dirt on her days as a server, where she worked with fellow actress Sandra Bullock.
I was at a party last night, and someone put a cigarette out in my eye. and Miranda said, "Well, Jennifer, that's too bad. You'll have to come to work anyway, so I'll see you soon." And so then I was like, but I had the whole contraption on, and I did. I went and showed up, and I knew this would happen. I knew once he saw me with the whole thing, and once he saw me, he said, you can't work here tonight.
After that incident, Coolidge committed to coming into work with an eye patch for a month. Now that's method. Apart from Mike White, she thinks another celebrity is responsible for making her a viable casting option. Coolidge says that her involvement in Ariana Grande's Thank You Next video helped remind Hollywood of her existence. The singer does a dead-on Coolidge impression.
God, you look like the 4th of July.
But then again, Coolidge's style is so iconic, so can lots of people.
Oh, I'm gonna make you a pie, dumbass.
I'm not in the mood right now.
Back to White Lotus, the beauty of season 1 is that you can feel Coolidge's real-life anxiety and insecurity in every scene.
I'm a very needy person, and I am deeply, deeply insecure.
So much of who Tanya is in the first season is about second-guessing where she belongs and who she is, and you can see so clearly how White's familiar knowledge of Coolidge informed the writing.
I want to show my hand. I don't want to play poker anymore. I just want to skip all the layers and just go straight to the crazy and just let the chips fall where they may, and just show them the core of the onion.
Coolidge, despite her nervousness, lets it all out in this role, sometimes literally. Though the actress gets incredibly seasick, Mike White insisted that she film most of her moving monologue of season 1 on a comically cramped boat.
Mike White was very adamant. He was just like, no. I was like, we could just put one of those screens behind it. It could look like we're on the boat, but that way I won't get seasick. And Mike looked at me and he just goes, no. And that was that. And then, you know what? I bet he regretted it about how many times I had to pull out the bucket.
This means every time you appreciate this scene,
she just couldn't handle her jealousy. She had to take me down.
Know that Coolidge is aggressively spewing between takes.
Well, I got sick enough that the rest of the cast members weren't really looking me in the eye anymore.
easily one of the best performances by an actor who is vomiting ever.
And spoiler alert, if that's true, you can only imagine the physical toll the finale of season 2 had on the actress. But more on that in a second. Tanya comes into season 2 fresh and confident, a reflection of how Coolidge herself evolved between seasons. You can't help but act differently after you've won an Emmy.
Guess who I am? What?
Peppa Pig.
I'm Monica Vitti.
Monica Vitti is dead. But yes.
Mike White says he also wrote a lot of Coolidge's dialogue in this season based off of lines she improvised in season 1.
Do you have any Oreo cookie cake?
When approaching this season, Coolidge says that though she weighed the same as she did in season 1, she decided to ditch the negative self-talk and let her bodacious bod speak for itself, which accounts for some of the more sultry acting choices.
You took his foot and you put it.
Oh, on your.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. That was so long ago.
I think.
I did?
I think that was right. Yeah.
I did. How? You know what? You know, Tanya's weird.
Coolidge cites George Carlin, Carol Burnett, Monty Python, and Marilyn Monroe as her acting influences. And you can see a little bit of all those folks in every scene.
Please, these gays, they're trying to murder me.
The boldness continues when Tanya joins a group of expats.
Hey, I mean, these are some high-end gays.
Who lead her through paradise before she meets her ultimate fate. Mike White said he decided the character's fate from Coolidge's last line in season 1.
Death is the last immersive experience I haven't tried.
And even used his real-life knowledge of Coolidge to determine how exactly Tanya would make her exit. In a Variety interview, Coolidge says, "Mike White thinks it's very funny that I can handle big things, but a little thing will be my demise. Like, my technical inabilities with my phone or something will keep me from accomplishing something big. These small things throw me off. It was so in line with who I am." And so, with the end in sight, White seeded hints at the character's demise as early as episode 3, where a tarot card reader tells Tanya, "La pazzia ti porterà al suicidio," which translates to, "You will die by," well, you get it. Still, even with all this foreshadowing,
you're like the heroine of your own Italian opera.
The final Tanya scenes still feel like nail-biters. Especially for Coolidge herself, who had to have another date with the vomit bucket between takes.
So what? So you throw up, so what? Whatever.
And despite that nausea, Coolidge begged White to let her do her own final stunt. White said no, but that is Coolidge floating in the frigid water afterwards. She told Uproxx that she had a personal goal to break Kate Winslet's breath-holding record from Titanic, a whopping 7 minutes. That didn't happen either. But can you blame the girl for trying? White was so moved by Coolidge's last stand, or fall, that he seriously considered doing a take where instead of drowning, she pulls herself ashore. And enough fans are speculating about the season 2 ending that we just might get to see a reference to that moment in season 3. We'd personally like to start the official campaign to get Coolidge a ghost cameo next time.
Hi.
So after all that, the vomiting, the fake foot surgery, the real life inspo, and so many jaw-dropping ensembles, Coolidge walked away with an Emmy, a Golden Globe nomination, a follow-up role in Ryan Murphy's The Watcher, and a spot on Entertainment Weekly's Entertainer of the Year list. Coolidge's story is so inspiring because it's a testament to body positivity, perseverance, and comebacks at any age, and the power of reaching out of your comfort zone to do the things that scare you a bit.
I think you get these good jobs just because you're farting around in your house with all your pets.
Coolidge also has one last piece of advice for any struggling artist. She told Variety, "I have done one thing really right in my life. I've picked great friends. If Mike was never successful and we just did White Lotus as a play in a little theater where everyone paid $10 to see it, it would still be one of the greatest things that ever happened to me because it was a killer job that no one else thought I could do." And if White Lotus is anything, it's a cautionary tale about picking the right friends. Which White Lotus character would you most like to hop on or off a yacht with? And which actor's journey would you like to see us cover next? Let us know in the comments below.